Joanna Moore was a prolific film and television actress, best known for her 4-episode stint on The Andy Griffith Show. On the series, Joanna played Nurse Peggy, who served as a love interest for Andy Griffith's character. Besides being involved in an on-screen relationship, Joanna and Andy also allegedly had an affair behind the scenes. Despite this, the on-screen Andy went on to marry someone else by the series' end, to many fans' chagrin. After her time on The Andy Griffith Show, Joanna's career floundered as she succumbed to substance abuse. Join FactsVerse as we explore how these tragedies destroyed Joanna Moore after she left Andy Griffith. During the 3rd season of The Andy Griffith Show, actress Joanna Moore made her first appearance as Nurse Peggy. Although she stuck around only for 4 episodes, she made a big impression on both Andy and audiences, and many fans were saddened when the on-screen Andy went on to marry someone else. That was, of course, schoolteacher Helen Crump, who had plenty of fans herself. One of the reasons the romance between Andy and Nurse Peggy may have become such a fan favorite was that the stars portraying the characters had romantic chemistry in real life. In the years since filming, it's come out that Joanna Moore and Andy Griffith became involved in an affair while Joanna was working on the series, although their romance seems to have never become anything more serious than just a fling. Andy's affair with Joanna wasn't the first affair that the star engaged in over the course of the series' production. Previously, Andy had been in an affair with Anita Corso. Despite the show's family-friendly image, it seems Andy Griffith wasn't afraid to get down and dirty behind the scenes. Although her relationship with Andy didn't last, Joanna had fond memories of working on The Andy Griffith Show until her death. Sadly, the filming of the show ended up being one of her last positive experiences in the entertainment industry. This was because her personal life and her career fell into a downward spiral shortly afterwards. Joanna Moore was born in Americus, Georgia on November 10, 1934. Both of her parents tragically passed in separate incidents by the time she was only 7 years old. Her mother passed away in a car accident in 1941, while her father died from unrelated severe injuries of his own later that year. After the tragic death of her parents, Joanna went on to be taken care of by her grandmother. But her grandmother didn't have many years left in her at that point, and Joanna soon had to be adopted out to another bloodline altogether. At the time of Joanna's birth, her name was Dorothy Joan Cook. It was upon being adopted that she took on the first name Joanna. In 1951, when she was 16 years old, she married for the first time to Willis Moore, with the future actress receiving her famous last name in the union. Although Joanna went on to keep the last name of Moore over the course of her Hollywood career, she and Willis divorced within a year of getting married. Having already lived a fairly eventful life by the time she was entering adulthood, Joanna found herself having a hard time focusing on higher education. She enrolled in a women's college called Agnes Scott in Decatur, Georgia. But soon after, she won a local beauty pageant, inspiring her to pack her bags and head out to Hollywood. Upon arriving there, it didn't take long for the strikingly beautiful Joanna Moore to sign with a major studio. At a party, a notable producer working with Universal Pictures spotted her. She was subsequently given an opportunity to test with the studio and later signed her first contract. Joanna started off working in television, and the majority of the actress's most iconic work was confined to that medium. But she still broke out into pictures soon after making her Hollywood entrance. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already, and stick around for more about Joanna Moore. Joanna Moore's impulsive marriage at the age of 16 was the start of a trend of failed marriages. Her second husband was a fellow fledgling actor named Don Orek, who she met early on in her career. The two tied the knot in 1956 and were divorced in 1957. Meanwhile, Joanna could be seen on the small screen over the course of the marriage, working on such anthology series as Goodyear Theater and Studio One in Hollywood. As her marriage to Don dissolved, Joanna began transitioning into film work, with some of her notable film roles during the late 50s being Appointment with a Shadow and Flood Tide. The same year of Flood Tide's release, 1958, Joanna received a significant career boost when she was given a small role in Orson Welles' Touch of Evil. While the role was minor, the film was much classier than the B-movies she had appeared in previously. The fame she got from that role led to her becoming more popular than ever. Before appearing on The Andy Griffith Show to perform her 4-episode-long stint, Joanna had performed similar guest starring roles on a variety of other shows, including Maverick, The Rifleman, and The Untouchables. But it's hard to deny that her role as Nurse Peggy remains her most iconic. Not long after making that appearance, she entered into her third unsuccessful marriage. This This marriage ended up being the most notable of Joanna's life. Her third husband was fellow star Ryan O'Neal. They married in 1963. The following year, he received significant TV stardom thanks to his role on the series Peyton Place. The two became one of the most popular couples in Hollywood. Sadly, this tabloid popularity didn't translate into much continued career success for Joanna. The two had 2 children, but sadly couldn't make things work. They divorced in 1967, after which point Ryan went on to become a big movie star over the course of the 70s, thanks to roles in films like 1970's Love Story. Whether as a result of her failed marriage to Ryan O'Neal, postpartum depression, or simply the fact her career seemed to be going on a downward trajectory, Joanna had her third divorce and entered into dire straits as a result of increasing substance abuse. Multiple drunk driving arrests resulted in Joanna losing custody of her children in 1970. That prompted her to check into rehab. Sadly, both of her children went on to have substance abuse issues of their own. In 1975, Joanna Moore entered into her 4th and final marriage, this time tying the knot to a man named Gary Reeves. This marriage only lasted until 1977, after which Joanna stayed unmarried until her ultimate demise. By the time of her third divorce, Joanna was taking work where she could get it. She appeared in a variety of B movies and continued to be seen on television. By the late 70s, she found herself barely able to function as a result of her years of substance abuse. Her daughter Tatum had become a child star thanks to her role alongside her father in the 1973 film Paper Moon. As a result of her performance, 9-year-old Tatum became the youngest actress to take home the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Given Tatum's early success, she found herself financially providing for her mother as the latter's situation worsened. Over the course of the 80s and 90s, not much was heard from Joanna Moore. The actress apparently continued to exercise her acting talents when she could by taking part in small theater productions around the Palm Springs area where she resided for most of her life. Her final role was in a 1986 action film, Run, Chrissy, Run. In 1996, Joanna was diagnosed with lung cancer. She had been a lifetime smoker and quickly succumbed to the disease. She passed away November 22, 1997, only a year after being diagnosed. She was 63. Now it's time to hear from you. Did you know that Joanna Moore had an affair with Andy Griffith? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.